Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, July 6th, 2010. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. And at this time, in honorance of our Stanley Cup champions, Chicago Blackhawks, I would ask Assistant City Manager Cap to do the anthem.
Calico, that soloist Jim Cornelison for the singing of our national anthem.
I'll please stand, please. Happy belated 4th of July to everyone and to our country. And at this time, to make this meeting official, I'd ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll, please.
Gutenkopf.
Here.
Pezza.
Here.
Shea.
Here.
Leader.
Here.
Rose. Absent. Graham.
Here.
Hipskin.
Here.
York. Absent. Nybo.
Here.
Healy. Absent. Morley.
Here.
Kennedy. Absent. Mulliner.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
You have 10 present and 4 absent.
10 present, 4 absent. We have an official quorum. The first item on the agenda is a swearing-in ceremony for a couple of fire department personnel. At this time, I'd ask newly to be sworn-in firefighter Kevin Reardon to meet me up at the right podium here, along with his family. Got some good things to say about Mr. Reardon. One of the best parts of my job is swearing in people that make a difference in this town, and our police and firefighters. I don't think you can go any higher than those guys. These are the guys that protect us, that keep us safe. Mr. Kevin Reardon is a native of Elmhurst. He was born here, lived there until he was age 7. He now resides in Wheaton, has an associate's degree in fire science from the College of DuPage. He is here present with his fiancée, Eileen Clark, his parents, Becky and Bill. And when asked what you like about the Elmhurst Fire Department, his answer was, the firefighters have a lot of pride in their own town and are always training to maintain their skills to provide emergency response for the people of Elmhurst. I think that's a great answer. So with that, I ask you to raise your right hand, sir. I state your name.
Kevin Reardon.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States of America.
Support the Constitution of the United States of America.
The Constitution of the State of Illinois.
The Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the ordinances of the City of Elmhurst.
And the ordinances of the City of Elmhurst.
And that I will discharge the duties of firefighter
And the duties of a firefighter
to the best of my ability.
best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to have Mr. Reardon say a couple words here.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. Appreciate the engine and truck company coming out. It's been great. I've been here 2 weeks now. I love it, and once again, thank you. And it's great to be here.
Kevin, Chief Cop, all the guys we got are great guys. We got the best fire department, best police department, best public works, I think, in the country. I see these guys in action with all the storms we've had, the emergency, the EOCs have been open, and I don't know, hundreds of wires down in the last week, and these guys, they go out there like it's nothing, and they risk their lives every day. So God bless you. We appreciate your help, and we look forward to many, many years with you as a firefighter. So God bless. All righty. The next gentleman is actually a promotion. I'd ask newly Lieutenant Mark Millet to come up to the podium, please, with his family. Mark is a 19-year firefighter here with the city of Elmhurst. He has an associate's degree. I'm going to let you get up here. I can brag about you. Associate's degree in fire science from the College of DuPage. He's almost a bachelor's degree. He's two classes short at Elmhurst College, so we're going to get him back over there. My alma mater. He's a certified fire investigator, member of the DuPage County Fire Investigation Task Force, member of the Elmhurst Fire Prevention Bureau. He's present here today with his lovely wife, Mary Beth, their daughters, Erin and Kathleen, and his mother, Mrs. Millette. So we got the whole family up here. All right. Mark, please raise your hand, please. Your right hand. And swear after me and repeat after me. Don't swear after me. I state your name.
I, Mark Millett,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the City of Elmhurst,
and the ordinances of the City of Elmhurst.
and that I will discharge the duties of lieutenant
I will discharge the duties as lieutenant
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Again, I'd just like to say thank you for the representation, chiefs for the opportunity, and always starts with family. For the family, for their support. Thank you.
They taught me in management school at Elmhurst College. Larry Carroll was one of my professors. People make a difference, and we just swore two fine people in today. One is a promotion. The other one is a newly sworn firefighter, and I think that's what Elmhurst is all about. Good people that serve and protect. So, next item on the agenda is item number 4, peer jury recognition. Outgoing member Sergeant McLean. Here we go. And
over the last 5 years, the police department has partnered with the community to establish the peer jury program. It's an innovative program the police department has used to divert nonviolent first-time juvenile offenders from formal court action. It gives them a second chance through peer mediation, giving individuals a second chance of becoming successful law-abiding citizens. These children are the future of our communities, and by having their peers support them and counsel them, it gives them a much better chance at reforming the decisions they made in the past that were poor decisions. Peer jurors are the jurors that make this happen. They're high school student volunteers from York, Timothy Christian, and Immaculate Conception High Schools. They are well-rounded, top students. They're athletes. They're also involved in many clubs. But even being so involved in all this, they still find the time to volunteer their evenings for this program for the past several years and make a difference in other teenagers' lives. So tonight I'd like to take a little bit of time to recognize them for their service. The names that we're going to read are senior jurors that have graduated high school. They're moving on to institutions of higher learning, and we'd like to show them our appreciation for what they've done for us. I think we only have a couple of them here because I think due to the weather and a couple other prior engagements, some of them couldn't be here, but we're going to read all their names. They all deserve the recognition. When you hear your name, please approach and shake our hands. Jillian Ernst. Christina Cernoski. And Katie Bennett, who's not with us here today. Mina Ayer. Will Finelli. And Annalisa Momkus. They've all done a wonderful job with the peer jury program, and I can't thank them enough. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our two citizen volunteers. This program couldn't continue without their help. Wally Hastings and Wayne Johnson, they deserve a round of applause because they do a lot of the work for us.
All righty, on to item number 5, which is receipt of written communications and/or petitions from the public. At this time, if there are any residents that have any written communications and/or petitions from the public, if you'd please present those to Clerk Spencer at this time, that would be great. Any written communications and/or petitions, please present those to Clerk Spencer at this time.
I have 3 copies here. I don't know if it's necessary, but
I'll make sure they'll be distributed.
All righty. I will now go on to the public forum portion of our meeting, which is item number 6. And at this time, I would ask if anybody would like to speak for public forum, I would ask you to raise your hand. I would call on you, and you would please state your name and your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes to talk about any Elmhurst issue. At this time, is there anybody that would like to speak for public forum? All righty. Gentleman to my right. And again, if you could please state your name and your address.
will do.
Thank you.
My name is Matthew Sherman. I live at 902 Parkside Avenue in the 7th Ward. I'm here this evening to talk about really an ongoing, I don't think I'm wrong in calling it a crisis at this point. It's a crisis of water problems in our neighborhood, 7th Ward and the 6th Ward specifically. I think I had an outline that I was going to follow when I came in here today. I decided to abandon it. It was an outline that was going to talk about what specifically the problems are, why they occur, and how nothing's being done about it. But it occurred to me while I was sitting here that maybe some of you, as unlikely as it seems, some of you might possibly not know what's happening in our neighborhood. The water problems that we have been going on for a good 4 years now. They aren't just about the most recent storm. I know that the quick rebuttal is going to be, we had a massive storm. It was a 50-year storm, a 1,000-year storm. It was a millennium storm a couple weeks ago. We're not talking about that. I'm here to talk about what's been happening over the course of 4 years. Within our neighborhoods, the streets have been overflowing. Houses have been flooded with sewage. Yeah, gross, sewage. Nasty stuff. Once a year for the past 4 years. We've got to do better than that. I'm here to ask for your help. I need your help. I'm begging for your help. The people in this room need to help us. You're here for us, and we'd like your help. The problems that the effects of the flooding are massive. We have people that are losing property insurance. So the first time you get a massive flood, you got insurance to take care of it. Second time, you're on your own. We're replacing cars, air conditioning units, drywall. We have to bring in companies to disinfect for fecal bacteria for our living rooms. We're ripping out carpeting, not once every 50 years, 100 years, with exceptional storms. This is happening routinely in our neighborhood. It's a difficult economic time, and it's going to be very hard to pull hundreds of millions of dollars out of thin air to fix this problem. Everyone recognizes that, but I'm hoping that the people in this room will pay close attention to what's happening in our neighborhood, do everything they possibly can, and work with the people in our neighborhoods to find reasonable solutions that will work, that will keep the water out of our streets and out of our homes. We could put in overhead sewers. We could take effective minor measures in our homes, but there's nothing a homeowner can do to keep water out of our streets. We have approximately 50 reverse slope driveways in the 6th and 7th Ward. What is that homeowner supposed to do to prevent water from gushing down, sewage water from gushing down their driveways into their living rooms, through their garages, wiping out their cars, into their garages, in their children's playrooms, in their offices where they work?
Sir, if I can have you wrap it up in about 10 more seconds. You're about 20 seconds over, but we're hearing you.
Thank you for keeping
Sure.
me in check. I'm here to ask for your help. I appreciate your time and listening to me, and I hope to hear from the City Council soon on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public forum at this time? Mr. Gao. Alderman Gao. Former Alderman Gao. We still call you Alderman.
I'm John Gao. I live at 145 Elm Tree Lane. As many of you know, about 3 weeks ago at a Finance, Council Affairs, and Administrative Services Committee meeting, a woman attending the meeting was ejected by the committee chairman. Later, the chairman explained that his action was preemptive. He had apparently heard remarks by the very same woman at some other prior meeting. When, therefore, she appeared at his committee meeting, seen by him rolling her eyes and yawning, he asked her to leave. Note, his action was based not on actual disruptive behaviors like rudely interrupting speakers, but on what a previous observation led him to expect. So the woman was summarily dismissed on no concrete evidence of disruptive behavior. But the other committee members objected and moved to countermand the decision of the chair. They won by a vote of 3-1. Since then, there have been many critical comments from citizens, witnesses to the happening, and serious other procedure issues raised by the Citizen Advocacy Center. Some other people said that they now felt intimidated, reluctant to speak for fear of being dismissed from meetings. To my knowledge, there has been no satisfactory apology from the mayor, the committee chairman, or the council as a whole. No resolution assuring people that this action was regrettable and that their participation was important and respected. On the contrary, it's been reported in the press that the mayor spoke in support of the chair's action. What happened was poor judgment. A chairman can and should give citizens a chance to speak at committee meetings wherever possible. Slamming the door on it by hasty, injudicious action cannot be tolerated. The air needs to be cleared. People need assurance that they're free to speak their minds at all open public meetings.
Thank you, Alderman Gao. Anyone else for public forum at this time? Gentleman in the front here.
also like to speak about the flood last week. I read the paper, you know, it was a 100-year flood again every 4 years.
Name, please.
Okay, Ray Hoffman, 916 Hillside. Again, the sewage backed up. That's a separate system. That's not even tied into the storm system. They don't mix. Well, somewhere it's crossing and filling and overflowing in people's basements. That's an engineering problem you guys have to correct. And you need to be responsible for all the people that damage and credit them and take care of the problem. They don't have a problem paying their bills. They pay their bills. You guys have to help here now. It's like he said, the cleanup, it's bio-waste. You can't go down there in this heat. The mold is just multiplying. Respiratory problems is horrible. And the people don't even know. I mean, this gentleman knows. He studied, did his homework, got professionals in there, but I don't know how many people didn't. Hot water tanks burned out, furnaces, no air conditioning now because you can't get a serviceman out. I mean, we have to take care of our, you know, people in town here. Overhead sewers, like he's saying, send somebody out to these seniors' house, to these older people. I'm fixing my problem. I fixed it in 3 days, but I'm handy. These other people, this keeps happening. Our neighbor, you know, son's sleeping in the basement. His whole, you know, bedroom's ruined. You know, his baseball collection, everything's ruined. No insurance can't cover it. So, you know, I'll help you guys, work with you guys to get this corrected. But, you know, let's help our people out. This is bad. This is waste. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public forum? Gentleman off to my left. There we go.
My name is Tim Sheehan, and I live at 246 Highview Avenue. I'm here tonight representing the committee responsible for bringing history to life through a vintage baseball game to be played here in Elmhurst. Through the cooperative efforts of the Elmhurst Historical Museum, the Elmhurst Heritage Foundation, and the Elmhurst Park District, Sunday, July 18th will be a day to remember as we watch America's favorite pastime as it was played in the 19th century. Beautiful Barron's Park will be the site for the vintage baseball game, featuring our hometown Elmhurst All-Stars playing against the Chicago Salmon. The Elmhurst team is made up of public officials and community leaders, including our mayor, Pete DeCiani, Alderman Jim Kennedy and Kevin York, Al Brinkmeyer from the Public Works Committee, Kevin Diamond from the Finance Task Force, as well as John Garcia from ABC 7 News. The team is managed by former District 205 board member Mike LaCicero. 4 years ago, in conjunction with the Elmhurst Historical Museum's 50th anniversary, the first vintage game was played in Elmhurst. Those in attendance on that warm summer day were treated to a wonderful game and to a history lesson. The 19th century game did not include flame-throwing pitchers. In fact, the batter told the pitcher where to pitch the ball so it could be hit. If a fielder caught the ball on one bounce, the batter was out. Even the ball itself was different. Today, runners sprint down the first baseline to beat out an infield hit and always run past the first base bag. Back in the day, if you overran a bag, you could be tagged out. Finally, when a runner crossed home plate scoring a run, the player was required to ring a bell behind the plate in order for the run to be recorded. There was a lot of bell ringing during that first game. Unfortunately, most of it was done by the Salmon. Between innings, there will be games for kids, including running the bases, tossing the 19th century ball, bago, the bat race, and answering Elmhurst trivia questions. League champion baseball teams from the Elmhurst Baseball League and the Elmhurst Youth Baseball League will be recognized for their achievements, and Elmhurst Park District dance groups are expected to participate. As if the game weren't enough on its own, visitors can enjoy all the Barron's Park amenities, including the splash park and the putt-putt golf course. Tokens will be available for batting cages, and food and refreshments are available as well. Comcast will be filming the game, and it will be aired on local access cable throughout the month of August. Be there to hear the bell ring as our Elmhurst All-Stars rack up some runs against the Chicago Salmon on Sunday, July 18th at 1 p.m. at Barron's Park. For more information on the game, please go to the Historical Museum website, www.elmhursthistory.org. For more information on Barron's Park, please go to the Park District website, www.epd.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public forum at this time? This gentleman in the aisle here.
My name is Verlin Walter, and I live at 7H9 Fairfield Avenue in the wonderful town of Elmhurst. And I'm here to further the gentleman who spoke earlier about the water problem that we have. On June the 23rd, when it began to rain, the water began to build up along the gutters between my house and Madison Street. Madison Street intersection between Madison and Fairfield, within a half hour, was flooded so that cars could not get through. And the sewers obviously were full, and we wondered why they were full, because I know personally that there's a pump that will empty that sewer into the creek in a short time. This all occurred between dark, which was about 8 o'clock, and by 9:30 it was full, and the cars were being stopped from going through there. About 10 o'clock, I believe, I happened to be able to get out and went to the store, but I think it was about 10 o'clock that somebody with the city suddenly realized that there was a generator down there that would power this pump. They got over to it, apparently, and started the generator, and the pump emptied out the intersection in approximately 15 to 20 minutes. My question is, gentlemen, why didn't we do that earlier? We had warnings that the storm was coming and that it was going to be a very heavy rain as part of that storm. And I just wondered, why couldn't we have had somebody there to start these generators, not only on the one that's at the end of Adams Street, but the one that's at the end of Jackson Street, both of which would have prevented a lot of flooding. One additional item is that the elevation of the ground between Hawthorne and Fairfield slopes down. The contractor who put the houses on Hawthorne and between Madison and Adams built it up, and so that if there's any flooding on Hawthorne, it runs down the hill into the houses on Fairfield Avenue. And I know for my own experience that I have $5,000 worth of damage in the first time in 14 years, and I know people on the block, the 700 block there, have had water over their wash machines and dryers down in the basement. And in one case, one of our neighbors doesn't have any insurance whatsoever, so they're having trouble even getting their basement decontaminated so they can use it again. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public forum at this time? Anybody? I will officially close the public forum portion of the meeting and go on to item number 7, which is the consent agenda. And at this time, I would ask if there is anyone that would like to remove anything to consent agenda, possibly have a question on any item on the consent agenda, possibly might want to vote no on an item on the consent agenda. If anybody's looking to recognize anything on the consent agenda, I would recommend we do that under other business. So at this time, is there anybody that would like to pull any particular item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Alderman Gutenkopf, Alderman Morley, and I'd ask Clerk Spencer to call the roll, please.
Gutenkopf.
Aye.
Morley.
Aye.
Pezza.
Aye.
Shea.
Aye.
Leader.
Aye.
Rose, absent. Graham.
Aye.
Hipskin.
Aye.
York, absent. Nybo.
Aye.
Healy, absent. Kennedy, absent. Mullenher. Wagner.
Aye.
10 ayes, 0 nays, 4 absent.
10 ayes, 0 nays, 4 absent. The consent agenda is approved in its entirety. And on to item number 8, reports and recommendations of appointed and elected officials. Item 8A, updates from the mayor, from myself. First thing I want to do is address the water that's been brought up. We were hit. Elmhurst was severely crippled by 2 storms, one of which hit on, I believe, a Wednesday. The other one hit on a Friday. The first storm hit the north side of our community harder than the south side. We had about 9,000 homes without power. Severe act of God. Not as much water with that particular storm. The second storm that really crushed the south side of our town had about 6,000 homes without power, and almost 4.3 inches of rainfall within about a 20-minute time period. City Manager Borchard, an engineer, mentioned to me that a 100-year event is 1.8 inches in 30 minutes, and we received 4.3 inches of rain in 20. So our streets are rated for a 10-year event, the storm sewers in our streets. And we had that combined with, that amount of rainfall combined with almost 6,000 homes without power. So including 2 of our pumping stations, which had not only the primary source of power go down, but a backup source that the city put in at the city's expense go down as well too. So very, very difficult circumstances. We are going to look at all of the problem streets that we saw. Many of the aldermen were out there in hand. Alderman Wagner, Alderman Kennedy, myself. We're not running from this problem. We're going to address it head on. City Manager Borchard and our Public Works engineers will look at each individual problem because we have specific issues per home, whether it's overhead sewer, whether it's the fact that there is no overhead sewer, whether there's a decreased recessed driveway, and also lowness in many of these streets that we have as well too. We will have some answers, and we'll be in touch with residents to let them know what the city plans to do, what our options are, what your options are, et cetera. So this history that was made in the last 2 weeks will not go undealt with. Believe me. Being the son of a former state farm agent whose office was by the Des Plaines River, the worst thing to deal with is water, and it's humiliating. It's depressing. Valuable items that could never be replaced, like photographs and memories, are ruined. Not to mention the physical damage and cost and value. So I totally understand. Although I'm not in your shoes, I was raised in a family where my father went out and dealt with these things head on, and that's what this mayor and I believe this council plans on doing as well too. So other reports I wanted to mention. On a positive note, we met with IDOT right before the holiday, and this mayor, this council, our city manager has been lobbying for ramps at Grand Avenue with the southern access, which is part of the western access project that we're hoping will happen, and we are lobbying bipartisanly with bipartisan mayors, bipartisan legislators, and congressmen from 5 different congressional districts to make sure that western access happens, which has southern access component to connect to Elmhurst. IDOT, initially when I first became mayor, there were no ramps at Grand, and we had ramps at Franklin Avenue, and we had no fix for North Avenue as well too. With city staff, we have been lobbying this hard, and IDOT has given us the revised maps, and we do have ramps at Grand on and off to get on the 294 and to the southern access, which connects to the western side of O'Hare Airport. This project is approximately about a $3.5 billion project. It will impact Elmhurst in a huge way. Economic development for our car dealers, for our industrial park. When I tell Dan Roche that he's going to have a straight shot off Grand Avenue, possibly off 294, his eyes lit up. Job creation, companies that want to move here because we have great access, and we'll even have better access. But this is going to take lobbying ability. This is going to take support, bipartisan support. Democrats, Republicans coming together, mayors from both Cook and DuPage County coming together, which we have. We just met with Congressman Roscom the other day, last week, right before the holiday, and every single mayor, both in Cook and DuPage County, is supportive of this. 3-4 years ago, that was not the case. It was a very divisive issue. We have Congressmen Lipinski, Quigley, Roscom, all trying to work together to bring this home. This is going to require cooperation from IDOT, from the Tollway Authority, so we've got state input here, as well as both counties, and because of the dollar amount, federal. So just want to let everybody know we are addressing North Avenue issues, we're addressing Grand Avenue issues, and we're on the map. Now we need to fund this. So, other items that I wanted to bring up, we just had a stormwater meeting this morning. The FEMA flood map, which is a huge, in my opinion, when I was running for mayor, was one of the biggest issues that most people don't know about. When the Stone Quarry was put in place and Louis Reservoir was put in place after the '87 flood, all of the homes that were, roughly about 1,400 homes and businesses in Elmhurst that were originally in the floodplain were taken out of the floodplain because of that infrastructure upgrade. There was an intergovernmental agreement between City of Elmhurst, DuPage County, and we've rectified many, many problems with Salt Creek. Even in this past storm, Salt Creek actually stayed at 6 feet, did not overflow out of the creek. So the issues that we had in this last occurrence were not creek issues, they were isolated issues with low street levels, homes that didn't have overhead sewers, homes that had recessed driveways. So they weren't an issue of the creek coming out of the creek and going into homes. Unfortunately, with the new FEMA flood map that was introduced in 2004 and almost approved in 2006, all those homes were going to go back into the flood map. So people would have to buy flood insurance, and if you think backing up a drain insurance is expensive, having sold insurance in the past, flood insurance could run you thousands of dollars, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and it covers very little. So, and in order to sell your home, it becomes a big encumbrance, and values in property will be decreased. This floodplain is important, and we've challenged the floodplain. This new map, which shows again these homes and businesses going back into the floodplain. We've City Manager Borchard and the staff have reinforced our levees, and we talked about some of the trees that we're having to take down to certify our berms. We're doing everything we can to make sure we protect these 1,400 homes and businesses, these people that could lose literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in property value if this floodplain was approved as is. I actually have to compliment Mayor Marcucci, who served on the Flood Commission, Stormwater Commission. I took his spot several months ago. He handed the baton off to me. I want a seat at the table. I want to make sure Elmhurst has a say. This is a huge lobbying effort, not only on behalf of mayor and staff, but it also involves both DuPage and Cook counties. How does it involve that? The Bussey Wood corridor that is affected in Cook County flows into our creek, okay? And so it's important that we have a bipartisan intergovernmental effort between both DuPage and Cook counties. Again, something that, in the past, Cook County was not all that fond of DuPage, and making improvements that would only help DuPage County was not necessarily in the top of their priority list. We need to change that. We're doing that. In reality, we're realizing Elk Grove, Bensonville, which has got part of Cook County in it, Franklin Park, many of these suburbs in Cook County are affected by the Bussey Wood corridor. So we've got these mayors, again, working together. Lastly, the Metro Grant. We're working on that. We're trying to bring this grant dollar home. During our budget cycle, we line item $30,000 in case we need to hire a lobbyist. That was voted on unanimously and passed in our budget. We discussed it, we talked about it, and it's something that we may need to exercise. That recommendation, based on myself and the city manager's support for this, is in committee. I want all the aldermen to keep an eye on this, because our budget's $52 million, $2.5 million of that is Metro. So if that money isn't delivered or isn't delivered in a timely fashion, it'll blow a big hole in our budget. Lastly, I want to thank Mayor Soto from Bensonville and Mayor Johnson from Wooddale on what I would say was a phenomenal 4th of July festival. We paraded on July 3rd. It was very well attended. I saw a lot of Elmhurst residents out in Bensonville. This is something that we did for the second year in a row to try and have a festival, have a fireworks display, have a parade, but do it in a way that would be cost effective. One, we don't have a venue in Elmhurst after Barron's Park was was omitted because of the car dealers having cars that were singed with fireworks. We stopped doing fireworks. For many years, we were participating with Bensonville and helping them financially. That stopped. Mayor Soto and I, two new mayors, trying to work together, trying to give our constituents the best bang for their buck, literally, on 4th of July, came together to put this on. They had great entertainment. I know Alderman Brown was there, Alderman Shea. It was great to see our local elected officials out there in force. They told me somewhere around 15,000 people showed up. A lot of people from Elmhurst, a lot of people came to me and said they were at Oak Brooks the other day, and this was a much nicer event. Great venue with nice entertainment. American English played right before the fireworks display, and they packed them in. So I think it was a great way to show how we could work together. And you know, we wrote a check for $5,000 and gave some manpower for police to make this happen. Mayor Wooddale, I believe, gave some manpower. Mayor of Addison, Mayor Hartwig was there in attendance. They canceled their fireworks in Addison this past year. So because of financial situations, they are going to write a check next year and participate. They were really impressed with the venue, with participation from all the communities. So I think it's a show, really a show of goodwill between communities to work together and do things on a more regional basis. So with that, that's it from me. I actually, I know Clerk Spencer wanted to mention something regarding,
You were
what's that?
I thought you were going to kind of open the door to
I'll
that.
open the door.
A couple of comments.
Yeah, we originally, Clerk Spencer actually brought this to my attention a while ago about public forum and actually having a sign-in sheet. Similar to what the school district does. I know I was on the Stormwater Commission this morning. We had a meeting where people actually sign in, name and address before the meeting so that we have a record. A lot of times people aren't clear when they speak into the microphone and there's an issue, so we want to be able to follow up. So Clerk Spencer actually prepared a sheet which we would like to possibly use in our next meeting, and I'd like to turn it over to Clerk Spencer.
Yeah, the form that was prepared was reviewed by the Finance Committee, and they accepted the form and thought it was a good working document. Just to add to what the mayor said, having people sign in would, I think, highlight the importance of the public comment section of our meeting and give respect to the citizens who would like to speak. Also that the clerk would really be the kind of gatekeeper and let the mayor know who is on tap to speak. The mayor, of course, would still be the timekeeper. So it's just a little procedural change, but I think it's a little more formal and would blend in well with our formal agenda. So.
Thank you, Clerk Spencer. We appreciate all ideas and ways to improve things, and I think this will definitely make things more efficient and keep much better track of who spoke and maybe their issues, if everybody sees there's issues that they speak about as well, so we can do follow-up. So, at this time, any other reports or recommendations from elected officials? Alderman Brown, and I'll go to City Manager Borchert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess just a couple questions in regards to your report on IDOT and the Grand Avenue ramp and the potential of a North Avenue ramp. I think I heard you say, and please correct me if I'm misquoting here, that there's going to be 2 ramps. So let me just ask the question. Is what is being proposed for Grand Avenue what we already signed on board for alternative? I think it was called Alternative D. So that is the solution that's being proposed by IDOT today, or has that changed since then?
Well, 203D originally did not have ramps at Grand. It had ramps at Franklin Avenue. So we're with the new option that we've lobbied IDOT and the Tollway Authority for. They are giving us in that option ramps at Grand Avenue on and off, which I think is huge. So that again will give us a direct shot off 294 and that southern access way, a direct link into our car dealers and another optional link into our industrial park. Don't forget, we have kind of a mini industrial park right off of County Line Road there, as you know, where the cemetery is there. We've got some great corporate clients that will rely on this, as well as the main industrial park, which is between York Road and Grand, in that little triangle area between Lake Street. So, we're excited, we're elated. This is something I've been bringing up at every meeting that is important, I think, for us. I think Franklin Avenue would have been great for Bensonville, and they're still going to get those, providing we can lobby for these dollars. And but we're on the map. There's also a slip road, which is off of 294, which will take care of the traffic issue of folks coming off 294 that really can only exit westbound on the North Avenue. And really when they intend to go maybe into North Lake or Melrose Park to go into their industrial park or into their retail area, they have to literally turn around on North Avenue. They drive through residential blocks. As we know, you're a Northside alderman, so I'm sure you get the phone calls, and cause a lot of traffic issues in our town. So this slip road would actually give 294 traffic going southbound the ability to slip off of 294 on the county line, and then actually before Lake Street would be seen, you could actually turn right go west into North Lake. So, and Mayor Sherwin from North Lake is seeing this as well too, and we're working collaboratively. Again, this is a project that actually is working between both communities and both councils of government, West Central Municipal as well as DuPage mayors and managers.
So is the slip road that you're referring to off of North Avenue part of this overall project, or just something that's being in the discussion stage?
You know what? They're two separate projects, but they're kind of working together because they directly affect each other. When you've got ramps that are that close to each other, our engineering firm that is working on our behalf is talking with IDOT and the Tollway Authority to make sure that the projects run seamless. And if one starts before the other, that they work together when the end result is in place.
Then the last would be, I'd like to please make a request for, any additional information, since alternative D has changed, to be distributed, well, especially to myself and any other alderman or elected official that deems that information warranted. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. But again, unless we get the dollar amount that's going to take, and this is we met in an access meeting, and this is going to be funded through the tollway. It's going to be a tollway project, more than likely, and in fact, tollway was there, IDOT was there, all the stakeholders were at the meeting, and they're going to figure out the financials, get back to us, let us know if the municipalities are going to be responsible for anything. Ideally, we can try and do as much of this with federal money and state money as possible. So, so that's why a lobbying effort is going to be hugely important, not only for Metra, because it's in our budget for this year, but also for lobbying money from the feds, from the state, from the county, so we can get these projects done. And again, stormwater, which is the sleeping gorilla in the room, 1,400 homes and businesses, and we need, I think we really need an ally that can work both Cook and DuPage County, because again, these stormwater systems, go hand in hand. So, anybody else? City Manager Borchert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick storm update. As has been presented through the public comment and referred to in the council's discussion, there was a citywide tree damage event June 25th. We reported that the larger debris, the larger sticks would probably take 4 to 6 weeks of time to clean up. The smaller brush material could be picked up on a faster timetable. Then on July 2nd, there was a much more significant high wind and heavy rain event that was more generally located south of St. Charles Road. Pretty well documented that the high winds were at near tornado levels. Perhaps there was a tornado touchdown momentarily, at least in Oak Brook, but southwest Elmhurst and central Elmhurst, south of St. Charles Road, even up north of St. Charles to the Union Pacific Railroad tracks, a lot of very, very heavy tree damage. The flooding as a result of the second event, and for the community to understand, the council understand, the Emergency Operating Center was opened on both events, and at that location, coordination of the public safety response and public works response was coordinated. All of the flood damaged garbage, we believe has been, if it's been placed out on the curb for pickup, has been picked up by the city's waste hauler. If there is subsequent storm damage garbage, please call City Hall offices, and there'll be a verification that it was storm damage, and a pickup will be arranged at the city's expense. Tree damage, city crews have been working ever since the first event, and now with the second event, coordinating between the north end of town damage, the south end of town damage. City Public Works employees have been working every day on the cleanup that they can address while maintaining other responsibilities and working on overtime Saturday. The city has contracted with its waste hauler, which provides a price as they provide their contract on a regular basis for this type of emergency pickup. Allied Waste has had extra crews in on weekdays and on Saturdays in a significant fashion. They have been able to muster full effort on 2 Saturdays, 30 trucks on June 26, and 20 trucks with typically 2 or more crew men to man those trucks doing the brush pickup. That's going to continue till the entire community is picked up. I've received a lot of phone calls from folks thanking the city for the wonderful pickup because they happen to be first on the list for the pickup. And a lot of other folks calling, complaining about where the crew's at and when you're going to do the pickup. That's because those streets are the last on the list for the pickup. There's always somebody first and there's always somebody last. The city crews are going with contractor help as fast as they can possibly go to get the town cleaned up. Working really from the north, south, and from the far south, north. So the middle of the town is, at this moment, the least cleaned up. I think a lot of that will come together over the next week. I'd like to thank School District 205. One phone call from the manager's office to the superintendent's office led to the approval of the use of a school site north and a school site south for the staging of the picked up brush debris material. That significantly helped productivity and efficiency and speed of cleanup, and it is because of the good working relationship between School District 205 and the city that together allows both entities to better serve the community. That's a status. Again, the brush I anticipate should be picked up in the next week. The larger sticks, the larger big tree trunks can only be picked up by the city grapple truck or a city rented grapple truck that the city was able to get. There's 2 of those grapple units now out picking up those large tree debris items. It'll take a little longer for those big sticks to be cleaned up. The brush we hope to get cleaned up again in another week. The sticks will probably take another maybe 3 weeks. The storm damage, sanitary storm damage, storm is reported. City staff will respond to those addresses on a one-on-one basis. We'll contact the folks that spoke this evening. I would anticipate they're already on a list for follow-up work. There may be an information meeting that would be appropriate in a particular neighborhood to explain to a larger group how the city of Elmhurst infrastructure works on the storm and on the sanitary, and how we have tried to put in backups with Commonwealth Edison, either with seconds feeds or with emergency generator support. That has been reviewed, evaluated. It's constantly being evaluated for improvements, and we'll use these recent 2 events to, again, self-evaluate and make improvements, make recommendations going forward. The 50 or so mentioned backslope driveways, there's currently not a city support program for that. We're looking at possibly developing one that would be along the lines of the city support for overhead sewers where folks would like to retrofit to provide protection. The city does step up and provide assistance. We're looking at possible ways to help with these backslope driveways that are now legal, non-conforming. You can't put in a backslope driveway going forward because it's just a bad idea. But those that have them, maybe the city could or should develop a way to help folks protect themselves going forward. We're working on all of that. We'll work with the Public Works Committee, certainly in the City Council, relative to any program. One-on-one, though, we'll provide ideas available to the private sector homeowners that have experienced a problem, again, working with our engineering group one-on-one. That's all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Borchard. Anybody else for reports? Elected officials. Okay. On to item number 9, other business. Any other business? Alderman Pezza.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. 2 items. Number 1 regarding F on the consent agenda. I think it's great news that we are going to expand the Economic Development Commission. Quick question, because I was asked, how will we advertise and solicit for these positions, and where can people get more information if they are interested in partaking?
I'll leave it to City Manager Borchard, but if they'd like to give a call to Dorothy, they can. I believe they can apply online, and they can apply in person. There's a one-page app, simple 8.5 by 11 application to apply with, and we'd love the applicants and looking for volunteers and people to look to step up and promote our town. But any other avenues, Mr. Borchard?
As you reported, Mr. Mayor, the application material is available on the city website. The plan is in the document that the City Council approved. Will be now with the referral to the DPZ committee through this evening's meeting and other meetings, getting the word out to the community that there's 3 spots on the Economic Development Commission that would be available for the community to respond to volunteer to be one of those commissioners. So if the newspapers could include that in their material, we will put that information on the city website. And again, the application document is on the city website. You can download that and submit it to the mayor's office.
Thank you. And
yes.
a second, I just want to thank Alderman Gao for coming out this evening. It was a pleasure to see him. He has always been my American Idol of aldermen, if there could be one. And I just hope that we really sat up and took note of his comments, because I really have a lot of respect for him. I always have. I know I always will. And, you know, I think a serious mistake was made, and I also believe we all learn from our mistakes, and that mistake would not happen again. And I guess just as part of this council, I would like to apologize for what happened as a member of the council, and just take note as to Alderman Gao's comments, because I really respect what he's always stood for. He's always been a great voice for the people, and he still is. So thank you to Alderman Gao.
Thank you, Alderman Pezza. Anyone else with other business? Okay. Announcements. Anybody for announcements? Alderman Morley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just real quick, over the past couple of weeks, with all of the storms and a little bit of flooding, I have a separate phone line coming into my home office to take my alderman calls, and I've lost power twice, and actually the phone line went down, and specifically my answering machine went down. So I'm speaking to maybe the people who've tried to call, but the 3 people I definitely lost on my answering machine. The only one I can recall is Jerry, who didn't leave his last name. The phone line's up and running, the answering machine's up and running. Feel free to call. Thanks.
Got to get a backup. I'm kidding. Alrighty. Also want to announce, too, that our Chamber of Commerce golf outing is this Friday, and we could use some more golfers. So if anybody's golfing or a golfer would like to get out and golf or take a sponsor, we got a great chamber with over 600-700 members, and it's a great event. It's going to be at Maple Meadows coming up this Friday. I believe it's a noon check-in with a 1 o'clock shotgun. So just want to remind people about that. And then on August the 2nd, which is one of my favorite events, is the Elmhurst Children's Assistance Foundation's annual golf outing and Friend of the Children Award. And the Friend of the Children this year is going to a fine individual who's our former mayor, Mayor Tom Marcucci. That event, I believe, is at, I don't know if it's at, I apologize, is it at Oak Meadows, or is it, I should know this. No, you know what? It's at Oak Brook. They moved it because of the fire at Oak Brook's, at the Elmhurst Oak Meadows Golf Course. The clubhouse had gotten struck by lightning. So it's at Oak Brook here, and it's a great event. Looking to sell this out and raise money for, I think, one of the finest organizations in Elmhurst, which is the Elmhurst Children's Assistance Foundation. That organizations help kids with sickness, with disability, everything from cancers to autism to Down syndrome to cerebral palsy. They see it all. Last year they gave out over $100,000 to our local kids, over $100,000. Their kiddie yard is out as we speak. They've got dog houses out there and picnic benches. Deb Conroy is one of the chief artists out there that's doing those up. She does a great job. Again, that event has raised, I believe somewhere around $250,000 to $500,000. So we've got great local artists that do a great job. Karen Exner, who's a dear friend of all of ours, is actually she did our doghouse. I told her to put an air conditioner in there in case my wife throws me out of the house. So, but Karen does a fine job. We got a lot of local. This town is rich on culture and arts, and also about stepping up and helping people when times are tough. And we've got we've always got kids, unfortunately, that are in positions of sickness and disability. The year my daughter was diagnosed with autism, there were 11 that diagnosed that year with autism in this town. The next year, 19. That's just autism. You bring in Downs and CP and cancers. The challenges keep on coming. So fortunately, we keep on stepping up, and we got a town that steps up and supports these things. So August 2nd, come out. Let's honor a great guy, Tom Marcucci, our mayor, who's done a great job for this town and was one of the inspirations to actually make me run for mayor when I was the president of ECAF, and under his chairmanship there was inspired that Elmhurst is a great town and to step up and do this. So with that, any other announcements? Alderman Pezza.
Yes, quick. Our next Ward 1 Coffee and Conversation is also going to be, this time it's going to be Ice Cream and Conversation, Wednesday, July 14th, from 2 until 3:30 at the new Brain Freeze Ice Cream Shop at 119 Park Avenue. And I'd like to extend a special invitation this time to high school students. We would love to have input from any high school students who are interested in their community, their local government, and actually one of their peers did a great job painting the inside of the ice cream store. So all are welcome, but a special invitation this time for any high school students that would like to join us. So July 14th, 2 to 3:30 at Brain Freeze.
Very good. Any other announcements? Hearing none, it is for a motion to adjourn. Alderman Morley, Alderman Hipskin with a second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? We're adjourned.